Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. All right, Tio, floor is yours, man. You want to expand the NCAA tournament. You want to make it be 128 teams. You want to make it be 256 teams. You want to make sure that every single team in Division I college basketball gets an invite to the NCAA tournament. So
make it 128. Make it 128. Add that first game at home. And then the NCAA can make even more money because of all that money that they need. Now, here's my thing. A quarter of the teams is typically what's preferred by the NCAA, and I don't think you're going to lose any quality of games. And the reason I say that is if you make every college conference in college basketball get their regular season champion and their tournament champion, a lot of times who's winning these mid and low major tournaments, they're not necessarily the best team. And some of those guys are moving forward and winning games in the NCAA tournament. There's more really good teams because in general, there's a lot more talent in the NCAA. There's more than there's ever been. Mm-hmm. So I think if you continue to expand the tournament, add more teams, make it regular season and postseason champs for the league, there's no reason. The quality of play is not going to go down. The upsets aren't going to not happen. You add a couple of these mid to low major conference teams, they're going to get beat because these mid-major teams can play. Like, for example, Furman wins the Southern Conference. There's several other teams in that league that could have won a game or two. I'm just throwing that in there. If you're trying to tell me Bucky McMillan and Samford couldn't have figured out a way to get an upset, you're wrong. Like, there's a lot of teams that'll give some of these high majors fits just because, let's be honest, guys, there's just more good teams available.
So here's my idea, and tell me what you guys think about this. If you expand it, you either go to 80 or you go to 96. You make it a requirement that the regular season champion and the tournament champion have to they both get automatic bids. If you win both, you're automatically in the field of 64. And then what you do is with the rest of those teams, you either have a pool. If it's 80 teams, you have a pool of 16. If it's 96 teams, you have a pool of 32, and you create 4-team tournaments, either 4 of them if it's 80 or 8 of them if it's 96. And you have those 4 teams for the rest of the end of the at-large bids play a 2-team tournament at the highest seeds, the highest rankings, like local, whatever it is, right? And you play for the 10 and the 11 seeds. And that's what you do. So
I'm sure that made sense. I'm sure that made sense in your head, but all I can think about is the Zach Galifianakis gif where it's like, that's like that. Like that's all I could picture.
Well, right. Just think about it like this. So the 4 playing teams from last year, right? Instead of having them play 2 games for 2 spots, you take those 4 teams, you put them in a pod, you put them at a neutral site. Let's just say you played at the Palestra in Philadelphia, right? And you have them play a 4-team 2-day tournament, right? And whoever wins that tournament gets to go and be the 11th seed in one of the regions, right? And you have 4 of those, or you have 8 of those different pods and 8 of those different tournaments. And you can either do that on the Tuesday and the Wednesday, or you turn that into the new first weekend of the NCAA tournament and push everything back a week and get a whole extra week of the madness in. Does that make sense? Big news. The Almanac is officially back. The most exhaustive and comprehensive guide to the 2023-24 college basketball season is available for pre-order now. If you go to cbbalmanac.com, link is in the description below, you can pre-order for just $15.99 or 20% off the sticker price. The format is going to be a little bit different this season. Instead of an 850-page PDF, you'll be getting access to the full site with league-by-league PDFs available for download. The preview will be live on September 20th, so you have until then to be able to get your pre-orders in. So for insight for all 362 Division I teams from their head coaches and the experts that cover them, make sure you hit that link.
Sure.
It makes sense. I do think that the NCAA tournament, as much as it pains me to say this, will expand because it's going to have to, because the Big Ten sent 9 teams to the NCAA tournament this past year, or rather in 2022 and 2021. Okay. 9 teams in the NCAA tournament. Now the Big Ten is adding UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon. What's that going to do? It's not going to stop it at 9. It's going to be 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, your bubble is only going to get more complex, and you're going to get to a point where the whole reasoning of why you took one team as opposed to another, that margin is going to be so thin that it's impossible to justify what you did there. And I think that's where a committee has to save themselves and say, we need some more slots. It's hard enough to select this field. Now you have all this realignment happening. You're going to have some of these leagues, like you just said, Rob, unbalanced scheduling is going to make cases very complex, at least in these double round robins, like the Big 12 had. You were able to say, here's exactly what a team did against these two opponents, these teams that are in the NCAA tournament. Here's what another team did when they had the same opportunities. You may not have that, and you're going to have some variance to who your regular season champion ends up being potentially. We could be sitting there saying one team had this schedule, the other team had this schedule. It's not all the way down the middle where we haven't said that before. I think that they're going to have to expand. I think I'm in favor of 80 to start.
I agree.
80 to start. Start with 80. Let's see how it is. And then you go from there. Here's my thing, Tio. I know you want 128. Okay. But
he just wants carnage. Vanda, that's all he wants.
I want all the madness.
But my thing is, I want all the madness too. But I don't need to watch 2 middle to lower tier power conference teams square off in a game.
That's what you get in the first 4.
And I have a hard enough time watching those games.
Okay.
So now you're giving guys, seriously, did you watch the entirety of the first 4 this past year? It was very hard to watch one of the games.
I did.
At least one of
I watched every second of all 4 games because
I did too, but I struggled
because I'm a fucking sicko, Fanta. Yeah. I'm not going to say I enjoyed it. Okay. I'm not saying that I enjoyed it. I did watch every second of all of those games.
I did too. And I'll probably watch the seconds of all the other games, but I don't want and this is what it's going to be. The expansion is for the NCAA to keep the football hungry conferences from disbanding and making their own event.
Yes. Yeah. And the reason why I say that you should have it be a play-in situation is that it rewards the mid-major teams by allowing them to be able to get directly in. And then it takes all of the lower end of the at-larges. And you, instead of having to worry about this team was a mid-major regular season champion and they couldn't get an at-large bid, blah, 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 then that takes that out of the equation, right? Then if you have the mid-major regular season champ that gets the automatic bid, then they're in the tournament. And then you can allow all of these mid-tier teams, the Iowa States that go 7-11 in the Big 12 and the teams that kind of are that level, you let them play their way in, right? You don't have to worry about whether or not they are going to be able to get a high enough seed. And it kind of takes a little bit of that out of the equation, if that makes sense. Because here's my question. Would you rather be the low at-large bid that's got to play 2 games to actually get in the field, or be the mid-major regular season champion that's got a lower seed, but you're already in there? I think I'd rather be the lower seed, right? It's already in there.
Yeah, just put me in there. I don't care how you get in there. Just get me in there.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.